Riverside and K293CF Moreno Valley.
House or if you want to see it now on video, you can watch it live at kcaaradio.com, or later it'll be uploaded onto YouTube at KCAA Dying to Get Well.
Thanks. First, I want to talk about Elvis because I love Elvis and because there's a new Elvis movie out, and he's my favorite. And I thought the young man who played Elvis did such a great job. Like when you first look at him, he doesn't really to me, he didn't really look like Elvis. But in the film, oh my gosh, when he had the white costume, the white jumpsuit, he really looked like Elvis. And he really did the Elvis moves, the shaking and everything. It was awesome. It was like being back when I was like a kid and I was watching Elvis live and his concerts and just like the stages and the sets. His name is Austin Butler. He did an amazing job. The girl who played Priscilla was pretty good, but Tom Hanks was amazing as Colonel Tom Parker. He did a great job as well. I guess I just wanted to say that go see the movie. You'll enjoy it. It is 3 hours long, so it's rather long, so have some time and be prepared. But I think that you'll enjoy the movie if you love Elvis. It was kind of sad. They did dive into his drug addiction and his drug use and how a lot of people supported and facilitated his addiction and his drug use. So that part was sad. I think that they got the relationship right with his mother. Not that I know about his relationship with his mother other than what I know from growing up and reading books about Elvis and watching documentaries about Elvis. It seemed like they got the relationship with his mother very correct and right. Also with his father. And I think with Tom Parker somewhat correct as far as how he took advantage of Elvis. But I think that, I guess I got a little bit irritated because I felt like it was a little over the top with the drama as far as like, it ended up being kind of a really sad story. I mean, and it should be because he died of an overdose. Obviously, it was a sad story. But I think that it really played Elvis as a victim, and I don't feel like he was a victim. I felt like he was a little stronger than that. So that was kind of annoying. But overall, I think it's a great film, and I would highly recommend people going out and watching Elvis. It's worth it. I guess the other thing that I was thinking is there was a song in the film that I really didn't like. There was some rap music, which I liked most of it, but I think one song didn't fit in. It was by Cardi B, and it just was like out of nowhere. She just started singing, and I just didn't feel like it fit in that part of the film, but it was really good. So today, as Alyssa said...
We love Cardi B.
No, I love Cardi B. I do. I have nothing against her. I just didn't feel like that song fit right there in that spot.
I didn't watch the movie, so I have
you'd have
no
to
idea.
see it, but that song didn't fit. And the lyrics didn't even seem to fit, but I'll have to listen to it again. Oh, another thing I wanted to say that bothered me about the film, and I don't know, this may have happened, may not have happened. It felt very Hollywood, and it also felt stolen from The Wall, and I absolutely love The Wall. I love Pink Floyd. So it felt stolen from The Wall, so it irritated me, because at one point Elvis is like, they're putting his face in cold water. He's supposed to go out on stage, I think at the International in Vegas, and Colonel Tom Parker's just yelling like, get that boy on stage, get him out there. And so the doc comes, and, you know, there's like a Dr. Feelgood that Elvis had always around him. And he comes with a shot and gives him a shot so that he can get him on the stage. But it really reminded me of The Wall. And during The Wall, if you guys ever saw it, you know, there's a scene like that where they're trying to get the guy out there on the stage at all costs. And I think the song Comfortably Numb is playing, and it's kind of like, you know, just a little pinprick. You know, there'll be no more pain, that whole lyric. And then, so I felt like that might have been a little borrowed from The Wall, and that kind of irritated me how that was borrowed from The Wall. So let's get started about our show today. Our episode today is about paraphernalia. We drove over here with a lot of fake paraphernalia, which made me a little nervous. We threw together some paraphernalia at the last minute. So
just stuff that either you get from the smoke shop or from your house even. There's so much stuff. It's crazy.
It is crazy. So paraphernalia, if you don't know what paraphernalia is, it's equipment to produce, conceal, or consume illegal illicit drugs. So that is the definition. People can get arrested for having paraphernalia.
Like us right now.
Yeah, we could. We didn't get arrested. And Alyssa made some fake heroin and some fake cocaine or something.
So I didn't want to take it out of the bag because I was like, should I put that on camera? I wasn't really sure if it was a good idea or not.
Well, it gives people an idea of what it looks like and how it's concealed.
We're also on live on Dying to Get Well
Live.
on our Facebook. So
yeah, so you can see it there as well.
yeah. There are multiple ways people use to get high. Honestly, any way that they can. But some of them are huffing, sniffing, snorting, smoking, intravenously. I have a hard time saying the word IV, orally, and anally, which I've also heard called plugging.
Yuck. I think I heard that maybe
You-
Marilyn Monroe had done that when she died. That there was drugs, and that's a quicker way of it getting.
Well,
in your system.
back when I was using on the street, there was people who would have their shots and they were coagulated with blood and they weren't able to use them, so they would break off the needle part and they would just put it up their bum and that's
Wow.
it, and you squirt it up there and they would get really high. Even more high than I've never done it myself, but they said that you would get higher than you would get when you do IV. So I always thought that was kind of interesting.
Different. right?
Gross. I
Yeah,
was
and
kind
we're
of
only
grossed
telling
out
you this-
about it.
We're
but
telling you these things only to inform you, not to encourage you to use. We
Right.
don't want anybody to use. We
Of
want
course.
people to be aware of what's going on out there, and if your loved one might be using, what are the signs, what are the symptoms, what do the drugs look like, what does
Right.
the paraphernalia look like, what to be looking for.
Right.
Yeah. So there are different types of paraphernalia. There are pipes. So there are pipes that are metal, wooden, acrylic, glass, stone, plastic, or ceramic. So here's one pipe. For example, if you're a parent and you're wondering why
That's just the
this
weed
child
one.
has this is a weed pipe. This is for marijuana.
Everybody knows that.
So maybe everybody doesn't, and maybe somebody might freak out if they see this and they think their kid's like smoking like meth or something.
I think that
I don't know. They might freak
this
out.
is the one that it kind of shocked me that you could buy this at a smoke shop. This is what you can smoke meth out of, and you go to the smoke shop and hey, can I get an oil burner? And
That
there
was
you go, you
rather
got your
embarrassing when we
meth
went and
pipe.
bought that today.
And it's a couple bucks. It's just
We went and bought that today, and Alyssa said she wouldn't be embarrassed. It was fine. And we went in there, and I was going to, I told her, we should just explain to the guy why we're getting it. And she said, that's silly.
the only reason I was embarrassed was because it was somebody that I've seen at work before that comes in all the time, and he was shocked. He looked shocked when I asked for an oil burner, and I was like, look, I don't do that anymore.
So do you have any idea what an oil burner, what its supposed function is for?
No.
Okay.
I just,
wonder.
I
I'm
just
kinda
all I
curious.
knew was meth.
Yeah, I wonder, though, what its, disguised function is, why they, what are they, oil burner? What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm wondering too if maybe it's like a weed, not a weed, but like a wax type of thing too.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe.
Wax, like marijuana wax, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that would make more sense, I think. What else have we got? Let's show some of our other stuff. So here's a spoon. Why are you laughing
You
at
brought
me?
your mini antique spoon.
Yeah, I understand. I read somewhere that a lot of people use mini spoons, and then they heat them up. Here's the big spoon.
Okay, so with the spoons, if you see burn marks, I didn't do it to this spoon because we don't have very many spoons left in the house. But if you see burn marks on the bottom of the spoon, then don't burn your antique spoon.
It's real silver. It's not gonna affect
Oh,
it.
if you burn the bottom of the spoon, or if you see a spoon burn on the bottom, that's because it most likely had drugs in it.
Okay, so parents, if you see a burnt spoon, keep an eye out and question that. Why do you have a burnt spoon? Okay, what is this?
Oh, this is just a regular can. If you see one of these, now we use these. I used to use these. It's basically like a spoon, but if you don't have one handy and available, you just take a can, you cut it off, and then you put your heroin in there, and then you cook it up from the bottom and use this as the handle. And you just cook it up, and that's it.
So now you were showing me this.
The Q-tip?
Okay, yeah. What is the? Wait, no. This is
Oh.
coffee, but it's supposed to be heroin. And what is it inside of? What did you put it in?
Oh, this is just like a regular bag. You could use any bag, plastic. If you see a plastic bag around, it's just signs that people like.
I thought
that
but
let
I
them
thought that
burn
there
and-
was like cellophane as well.
Yeah,
where
you
do
could
get that?
use. You could use. I'm saying you could use if you see around the house.
Yeah, really.
Like people would use like stuff like the cellophane on cigarette packs and put their drugs inside of it, and you can. If you see any like powder substances inside of this or black stuff, smeared stuff inside of a bag like this, then it's most likely drugs.
Okay, and then didn't we buy some little baggies too?
We did.
And sometimes you might find little baggies.
These are huge. These aren't really the right size because honestly, normally they're way smaller. Like mini, honestly, like mini sandwich bags.
little sandwich bags.
Tiny,
and
tiny
the one
ones.
that I seen that one time, then I kicked one of your boyfriends out of my house because there was drugs in my bathroom. It was a little tiny bag, and it had a skull and crossbone sticker on
Oh,
it,
those
or an
ones.
alien.
Yeah, you could. People use those too, but um, those I used to associate with like ecstasy
Oh.
and stuff like that. I used to because that's mainly what they were used for. But they can be used and they are used for other drugs as well.
So ecstasy has more stickers and stuff on it. Is that what you're
I
saying?
don't know if it's more like a just because it's more like considered a party drug. I
Oh.
guess maybe it's just something like that.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, and from what I seen, because that's the first time I ever seen any drugs, and they were crystal-like. So I was like surprised because I have heard of methamphetamines being called crystal, and I didn't expect it to really look like crystal. I thought it looked like white
Oh
powder.
yeah, they actually look like white crystals.
Okay,
Mhm.
that was interesting
Chunks
to
of
me.
crystals.
Okay, so some other types of paraphernalia or other things that you might see are stash boxes. I brought
This one.
I brought this from my room, but I don't really know that anybody would use it as a stash box. She kind of laughed at me, but I think it's just.
I mean,
like
you could
it's-
just
it could be
anything.
anything that looks, And then I think you can buy at smoke shops. You can buy cans, aerosol cans, and they look like maybe soda cans, or it might look like Axe body spray or something, and it's sealed. It's like watertight, and people can put stuff in there. I remember those because my brother Jody used to smoke some marijuana, and he would hide it in a stash box, and he would get it at the Wooden Indian back in the day. So I remember seeing
The
some
Wooden
stash.
Indian.
The Wooden Indian was a store over on in Riverside, over on Hull, I think Hull
The one with
Street.
the Wooden Indian outside?
How would you know that?
I don't know. I feel like I remember seeing one.
I don't think it's around anymore, but yeah, it had a huge wooden Indian outside.
weird.
We could have called it Kalijah or something, but that's way before your time. But anyways,
No
yeah, it was
idea what
out
you're
there, and
talking
they would have the black light posters and all that stuff. It was it was a cool place. Some other things that you might see are some straws. Do we have a straw here?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't cut the straw. Alyssa made fun of my
Now,
straw.
if you see straws, yeah, there's like straws around the room, maybe like cut in half, and usually they're clear straws. I mean, this one's black, but you'll see like brown stuff or white powder or something on the inside, caked inside,
It's usually cut, right?
and it's usually it's shorter so that it's easier for you to get close to the
It's
smoke.
for snorting?
Honestly. You could do snorting, but smoking
Oh.
is a big reason for this. You put it up to the aluminum foil, and you
Aluminum.
inhale.
Grab the aluminum foil.
Well,
I'll grab it.
yeah.
So tell me about the aluminum foil,
Now
because this
you
is a
could-
big deal right now.
There's a lot of if you see foil around the room of maybe your kid and you're wondering if they use or something, you'll see like black marks on it from especially on the bottom. It'll be covered with black soot. But the top, you could see lines. If it's heroin, you'll see lines of actual black going around it in squares or circles or whatever, just black lines. Or even if it's a pill, you could smoke pills.
Yeah, that blew me away. I found that out recently that people can smoke pills, and that
Right.
they're doing. A lot of young people are smoking painkillers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've done that before too. So
Okay,
yeah,
so it gets into their system
I
quicker.
mean, you can-
So they're smoking the painkillers.
people smoke meth off of these too. They like if you there'd be little boats. It's like almost like a little boat.
Oh, okay, so they shape it like a boat. Okay. Oh, and that reminds me of something. Do you have the dollar bill? I saw something this week that I wanted to bring up in the news. I saw that. Oh no, the other one that's folded a different way.
Oh,
I saw in the news that,
right here.
and I don't know if it's out here. I saw in Tennessee that they were finding dollar bills that were folded sort of like this, kind of in a straight line, like this. And so, how would I describe that on radio? I mean, on the show. Folded in half.
Folded in half long ways.
Long ways, and people have been finding them that have fentanyl in them. So if
Just
you
randomly.
yeah, so just out in somebody found them at the beach, and they've been found in different locations. So be careful out there, people, because we don't know if somebody's doing that to try to hurt someone. And
You know, I
fentanyl
feel
is
like
dangerous.
Would it be to hurt somebody, or maybe that's how they're storing?
or they're losing it, but it's just kind of weird that they've lost it all around Tennessee. Like they've,
That's
you know,
true. It's just a
in,
weird.
in
It's a weird
public
thing.
parks and beaches. It's kind of weird to me.
Right.
I'm just saying, be careful because you don't know. That's why I thought I'd bring it up.
Definitely.
Also, dollar bills could be if you find them rolled up or money rolled up, they might be
And with
using
also
it.
with black marking or soot, or if it's if they're smoking heroin, there'll be brown or black stuff inside of the circle part of the bill that's folded.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, because that's the heroin. It kind of gets stuck on everything.
Okay. And then mirrors. When I was a girl, I would see my dad with a mirror and a razor and a straw. So I guess, you know, they use the mirror to put a line on there, a line of like meth. My dad was using meth. So a line basically means like if they take the powder, they put it into a line, a straight line, and then they use the razor to straighten the line out. And
Or a
then
credit card or a card.
or a credit
ID
card,
card,
or a card.
any kind of card. Just
Yeah, and then they maybe use the dollar bill or the money to snort it up, or the straw to snort.
And we're not making this as like a how-to. It's not the reason.
Yeah,
the
no, we're
reason is
just
so
telling you-
we can make people
telling you-
aware of what to look out for in their children if this is what's going to
for
be
me,
around the
it was
house.
confusing. Like I remember like one time when you moved back in and you had come off the streets and you moved back in and you were on methadone, I started seeing a lot of Q-tips. And I had no idea what that was about, but I had a bad vibe about it. So what were the Q-tips?
So when you are cooking heroin, there's a lot of cut inside of it. So basically,
What is cut?
people putting they cut your drugs. So basically, they put different stuff like in your drugs so that they can make it.
They can make it more.
They can make more of it, make it look like more, and not have to give you as much drugs for your money. Basically, so they'll put stuff like baby powders. I've seen people use sugar.
I remember hearing baby laxatives back in the day.
Oh my gosh!
Put stuff
Yeah,
that you
people
should
put
not be
just-
putting in your body, like
Yeah.
up your nose and,
And
stuff.
so,
Yeah,
like I used to, I mean, you'll see pieces of cotton from the Q-tip or even from a cotton ball. I brought one of
and
the
I
cotton
heard them
balls
called
here.
cottons before. Is that
Yeah,
what-
they're called we call them cottons, and it'll have we use it to we cook the drugs like say in a can,
you
and
used
then
to.
I used to and then
Oh,
put
continue.
you put the piece of cotton inside so that it could filter it pretty much because I don't think I know the drugs can't be sucked through the syringe all the way without the cotton because of all the cut that's inside of it. So you'll see stuff like cottons, pieces of cotton with like dark stuff on them that look darker if it's heroin, and yeah.
Oh well, getting to that.
Oh, and you might find bags of just cottons with stuff in them because I used to just save my bags of cottons until way later when I was sick and I didn't have anything, and that's what I would use. And I just
So
squish
when you were
'em-
dope sick,
yeah,
you
you
would
could
use
just
it
you
again.
could squish them out and then resuck them up.
And then I think you told me at one point in time that the cotton sometimes can make people sick, like crazy.
Oh yeah, if you can get sick from sometimes it's like a random thing. If you end up getting sick from using a cotton or not, it's such a random thing, but it's the sickest feeling ever. Like it's so bad.
Didn't you tell me like people get a little crazy and then they think that like the cotton's coming out of their skin or something like that?
No, I'm not. That's not what I was talking
Oh,
about.
that was something different.
That's something else. So, it's called. It's not cotton. It's like I forgot what that's called. It's a kind of like a psychosis in a way, but it's like where people think bugs are coming out of their skin and stuff, and like or pieces of thread and stuff like that. I can't remember what it's called.
But it has to do with meth. Using meth.
It happens to some people who don't use meth, but yeah, it's more prevalent in people who do.
Meth. Okay. And then I tried to go and buy some needles because I remember when Alyssa was using, I started finding some little orange caps around the house. And
No,
I
this is
didn't know
not
what
the
that
right-
was.
Yeah.
So I tried, Alyssa. She's like all after me for this. But
It's huge.
so I knew it was, okay. So I go to the store and I try to buy it at Rite Aid and they give me a very large one. But she said she didn't have the little ones. This is like 2 gauge or something crazy. I knew it was at the time. But I figured it's better than having nothing on the show today. So if you see some needles and they're smaller than this, I mean, that's kind of what shocked me is how small they were, and how easily you're able to hide them.
Yeah.
And the little orange caps, you'll see them on the ends. And did you perhaps was there another piece that you had?
Yeah, I don't know where that went.
Okay, so there
It's
was-
just that it looks like the bottom of this anyway. It's just the bottom of the syringe, and
Okay.
yeah, we call these rigs, syringes, needles, rigs.
So those are some of the terminology you might hear people using to refer to needles. Um,
Right.
all right, let's see. Where were we at?
Now with IV. Oh,
Also, sorry. I was going to say,
oh, that's from a pen.
what was it supposed to, what is it supposed
It's
to be?
it's basically like the same thing you could use like as a straw, but it's like people take apart pens, and you'll see these laying around too. Just wondering why is there a pen taken apart, but you might notice some burn marks around the part of the pen, or maybe some, of course, again, brown stuff on the inside of it.
They use it for smoking?
Yeah, for smoking, mostly smoking.
Smoking what?
Heroin.
Okay.
It's mostly heroin.
And heroin is
or pills.
heroin can be white, black, or brown?
Yeah, it depends on the kind of form it's in. It could be a tar form, which is like literal, looks like tar, black tar. It could be like a brown powder, or it could be like a whiter kind of color. But that's more in the. I mean, we don't really see that around here as much in California. I don't know why, but it's mostly in the East Coast that you see the whiter stuff. So I guess I've heard people get like in rehabs, they get like, it's almost like a culture shock to them when they come out here and they start using out here, because they're like, what is this black stuff, this tar stuff? What is this? And they don't know what it is, and they don't know how to use it. So I've seen that happen before. I've actually been with people who said like they don't know how to use this.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
So so there's different colors, and then fentanyl. What can parents look for if they're if they suspect there might be some fentanyl use, or maybe look for what color is that? What is it? What forms does it come
There's
in?
there's a blue pill. It's just like a little circular blue pill, blues, and it's that or white powder. It's it's kind of hard to discern it from different other drugs. Sometimes it looks similar to a lot of other drugs sometimes, so you don't know exactly. I mean, I've had it before where there's a cop that came in and they were asking my baby's father, what is this fentanyl or is this coke? Because they didn't know, because it looks so similar.
Right. Well, they have testing kits too, right?
Right.
So
They didn't have them on, and then
no, I'm sure they don't always have them on them.
Right.
So that makes sense. I understand too that the foils are used for smoking or inhaling, and they can be used for fentanyl, and it goes into the bloodstream faster, and so that's why. And if you're finding the baggies around, parents, please check the baggie, see if it's like, maybe if there's like little green marijuana left over, then you'll know it's marijuana, and you can differentiate between marijuana, or if there's white powder, or if and I think they have strips too now where you can test for certain things too, where you can test the drugs for certain
right.
things.
No, yeah, right. It's different than testing the actual person, right?
Right, you can test the actual drug. So if you find a drug. Oh, also one thing I when I was looking up the paraphernalia, I was kind of shocked to find that like at the little liquor stores. And that's the thing. You can find this paraphernalia at liquor stores sometimes, and sometimes you can find them at smoke shops, also called head shops. So that's where we got the oil burner, which is actually used for smoking meth. But one thing I was going to say is they have these little silk roses, and I'm pretty sure your dad bought me one. He was famous for going to the liquor store, getting some smokes, and then coming home with some kind of...
Why would he buy you
So-
one for what?
He would buy me cheap roses all the time. The cheap silk roses all the time at the gas stations and stuff like that, and at liquor stores. So one time he brought me home this silk rose in a little glass like cylinder container, right? Well, today when I was looking it up, those are used for smoking crack. I had no idea. And then I also found out that smoking crack, people who smoke crack, usually it's a long pipe
Yep.
with no bulb
With
on
no
the end.
bulb on the end.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't know that, but yeah, so that was interesting too. So I found that out today. I found out a lot of things, but
And also, if somebody that you know or love, or if you're looking around and you notice that there's a lot of things like string type things, or like even like sweaters,
Belts.
arms of sweaters, tied in knots.
oh yeah, I've
Things,
seen that.
yeah, things like bungees, and it's just stuff that used to tie off with.
What does it mean to tie off?
Tying your arm off, just like they do when you get your blood drawn.
Okay, so that's what you do now. Track marks and veins. What do that look like?
Looks like this.
Okay, so it's going to
Just
look
show
like
my
that's
arm.
a track mark. And are they always that long?
No. I mean, they're different. Everybody's could be different. Honestly, they kind of at first just look like dots, and then it starts looking like scratches, almost like cat scratches in a way. It's kind of a strange.
Right there.
It's hard to describe. I don't really know.
And what veins do people use? Can they use any
Oh yeah,
veins?
on their arms, on their between their fingers, on their thighs, on their stomachs, breast, between their toes. It's just the spots where and neck, but people try to go for the spots that are the easiest, and then spots that they can hide, and also then finally just spots that you can get, because I started losing spots in my veins that I could actually get to, so I started having to go for different spots in places that were more obvious.
Right, right. And then when you have the track mark, does that mean you've blown the vein and it won't work anymore, or
I
is
think
that
it's just
a
I
mark?
don't know. I think it's just a scar because of the overuse of how many times I've used it.
Interesting. Okay. I just was wondering because I don't know all this. We have something here, Suboxone. Is it Suboxone?
Yeah, it's just tiny piece of one.
So this is what Suboxone looks like.
Now this could be used for withdrawals from heroin, from opiates, but it can also be abused. People have been known to, I mean, anyway, they could use them. Orally, they try to snort them. They try to
But what are they? How are they
inject them, but
supposed to be used?
they're made in a sublingual now to try to prevent people from injecting them. A sublingual meaning under the tongue, but it's
Like a
still
strip, right?
it's like one of those Listerine strips, but it's under the tongue. It's an orange one, but it used to be like Subutex. Subutex was basically Suboxone without the naloxone. It was just buprenorphine, and it would just be taken orally, and it was a pill. And you put that one under your tongue too, but that one you could inject pretty much, and you don't. There's nothing to block it. So that's why they made the sublingual, and it's
Oh,
and with the
interesting.
naloxone in
So
it.
it's to keep people from injecting.
Right, and
Okay.
and then naloxone is they try to put that in there to block people from being able to get high off of it as well, but it didn't work very well.
It didn't work very well.
Well,
Now,
IV, I mean through IV.
so do you find that Suboxone is one of those drugs that works if you use it correctly, but it can be abused?
You know, it's hard to say. I mean, yes, it is, but it's yes. I mean, I'm all for Suboxone and anything that you can get you clean off of heroin and off the street. It's just something that it's hard when you get off because you go through a withdrawal in itself. That's why I root more now for the Sublocade, the shot that you get once a month in your stomach, because I mean it takes so long for you to it slowly leaves your system over time, so that you don't really get that sickness all at once like you would with a Suboxone. It's
Right.
but it builds up in your system for a long time, and then it just like slowly gives you a certain amount over time, which is nice. And then so it makes it so you have to, what is the word, detox slowly,
Oh, I know the word you're looking for, but I can't think of it.
yeah.
What is the word? Now it's going to irritate me.
I know. Oh well.
Yeah, wean.
Wean yourself. It weans off for you. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I want to also talk a little bit. Well, we'll talk about that toward the
Oh,
end.
I'm
end of the
sorry.
show.
One more thing I
Okay,
thought
go
of is if you see bottle caps, water bottle caps, but on the inside of them you see like a crystally substance, maybe like a shiny crystally substance, or brown substance, or cotton even in it. That's something used to make makeup drugs inside of too. Sometimes when there's not anything else, you just crunch it up in there.
And then you use the syringe of the needle
Right.
and suck it up in there through that. Okay, interesting. One thing that has been on my mind for a while now is this little powder plant called kratom.
It's either kratom or kratom.
And so I bought some today that are going to be flushed when I leave here. This one is called a green vein. and and so my a family member was working a smoke shop and started taking these, and she takes them. and she seems to like them. However, some of my family members say they don't like them. Um, what I'm finding when I looked them up recently, what I saw was when I looked up the top 10 most abused drugs in 2022, kratom came up as number one. So I'm not sure about it. Like the verdict's kind of
No,
out.
it's not considered um, a controlled substance, so you could just buy it in the liquor store or smoke
You can buy
shops
it
and
at the
stuff like
smoke
that.
shop.
And it's called, I mean, an organic product because it's from a leaf, but it's being used to get high. So I feel like anything you use to get high can come at a, at a point of
Right. Well, and then what
just
is
like this here
we forgot about
the
that.
keyboard duster,
Keyboard duster.
the inhalant.
Yeah, it's an inhalant that can be used to get high. But what I'm gonna just read a little bit about kratom because
Yeah, I remember using it once with me and my cousin when we were withdrawing off of heroin and we didn't have any. He told me about it and I had never heard about it. This is like years ago. And so we bought some from the smoke shop and we took a couple and we were like feeling wiry, like what? This is not how we wanted to feel. We wanted to feel better, not feel like up and awake, and we were like, this sucks. We feel worse now.
right. Well, and I had one relative tell me that too. They didn't like it. It made them have a headache. And then when I went to buy them today at the smoke shop, the gentleman there, I asked him about them, and he said that he took it and he vomited immediately. But he said that he has people who come in and they take like 300 pills a week. So that's like crazy to me. But
Oh yeah.
this is what the research kind of said from the Department of Justice. Drug Enforcement Administration. Kratom is a topical.
DEA.
Oh, sorry. You can read this first part because there's some words I don't know. I'm gonna let
Oh
her read
wow,
it.
I don't know all these words either, but okay. Kratom it's a tropical tree native to Southeast Asia, I guess. Consumption of its leaves produces both stimulant effects in low doses, which is probably why we got that stimulant effect, and sedative effects in high doses. It can lead to psychotic symptoms and psychological and physiological dependence. Kratom leaves contain two major psychoactive ingredients, which I cannot pronounce. These leaves are crushed and then smoked, brewed with tea, or placed into gel capsules like the ones we have here today. I don't know if you could see these. They're really small little gel
I
capsules.
have
and
seen
they're
it in powder
green.
form too.
I've seen the powder form too. It's green, just like these pills. It's just green powder. Kratom has a long history of use in Southeast Asia, where it is commonly known as thang. I can't pronounce all these other ones. Cacuum, thom, Ketum, and something else. In the U.S., the abuse of kratom has increased markedly in recent years. Here is my mom with how it is abused.
Mostly abused by oral ingestion, in other words, pill form, in the form of a tablet, capsule, or extract. Kratom leaves may also be dried or powdered and ingested as a tea, or the kratom leaf may be chewed. The effects are at low doses. Kratom produces stimulant effects, with users reporting increased alertness, physical energy, and talkativeness. I don't need that. I'll be talking.
No.
I like to talk. At high doses,
It'll be like 2 a.m. You'll come home and you're just like, you know what happened today? I'm like, I'm literally sleeping.
Sometimes I like to go out dancing and talk to you at 2 in the morning, so I like to dance. Okay, at high doses, users experience sedative effects. So basically, it kind of sounds like it could be a
both.
Yeah,
the upper and a downer.
Yeah, kratom consumption can lead to addiction. Several cases of psychosis resulting from use of kratom have been reported, where individuals addicted to kratom exhibited psychotic symptoms, including hallucinations, delusions, and confusion. And we watched a YouTube video where a guy was talking about that. He said he was a fan of kratom, but then he started taking more and more and more of it. He was taking it for energy, and he started taking more of it.
Well, and he also said he had ADHD, and it had helped him call him his ADHD, and he had back pain. It helped with that. So he's like, oh, this is great, a miracle drug. And you could just buy it.
It kind of sounds like a miracle drug.
Right, and you could just buy it at the smoke shop,
Right.
And then go on.
Oh,
then all of a sudden.
Yeah, and then he started having issues. So first off, he started having issues with his digestive system, constipation, and then diarrhea.
Which sounds normal also for opioids.
Right. Right. Well, and it works on the opiate receptor. It also works on the. I looked it up. It works on the opiate receptor, and it also works on the serotonin receptor and the dopamine.
Makes
So it does make
sense.
sense that it's working on
Right.
all three things.
Exactly.
Um, so basically, he said the issue he's having now is with his pancreas.
Yeah, he
Um,
had pancreatitis now.
yeah, pancreatitis is which something it runs in my family. My mother had it, and she never used drugs. But then somebody else in my family got it from drinking alcohol. So the pancreas has to work, and it has to, I think, almost like the liver, it has to cleanse your body of any toxins. And so when you're putting a lot of chemicals in your body, it's hard on the pancreas.
Right, and he was also saying too that he was doing a lot of it.
Oh yeah, he was increasing his dosage a lot.
Right.
I also read that they were checking it to see if it should be classified as a controlled substance, and they did the 8-factor test on it. There's an 8-factor test, and they decided not to classify it as a controlled substance. But I didn't really like what they said. They basically
As
said,
to why.
yeah, they basically said we don't want to classify it as a controlled substance because the other controlled substances out there will kill you if you overdose on them. So, and this is good as a pain med, and it's good because they're not using other things, and we don't want it to be made to where people who are in possession of this will be arrested because we're still doing research on it.
Right.
So that kind of made me feel like people were guinea pigs. I don't know,
Right.
but I don't like to be a guinea pig for anything, so I don't take anything. But you want to read this part right here about what it does to the body?
Right. Okay. So kratom's effects on the body include nausea, itching, sweating, dry mouth, constipation, increased urination, tachycardia, vomiting,
What's tachycardia? Do you know?
fast heart rate,
Yeah, it messes with your heart rate.
vomiting, drowsiness, and loss of appetite. Did I just say that? I don't know. Users of kratom also experience anorexia, weight loss, insomnia, hepatotoxicity, hepatotoxicity.
Does that to do with your liver?
Can't say
We don't know what that is, so
hepatotoxicity.
if you know what
It
that is,
sounds like
call in.
toxicity of the hepatitis.
If you have
of
any
the
opinion about this, because
hepatitis.
we don't know a lot about it, please call in.
Seizure and hallucinations. Kratom is not controlled under the Controlled Substances Act. However, there may be some state regulations or prohibitions against the possession and use of kratom. The FDA has not approved kratom for any medical use. In addition, DEA has listed kratom as a drug and chemical of concern. Is that it?
Of concern. Yeah, that's it. And it was interesting because I was kind of wondering about kratom this week, and so I actually looked up like popular drugs, the most popular drugs, and I actually end up in an old like an old study, and it was like bizarre to me because I'm sorry, opiates were like almost at the bottom of the list, and it was like some other different types of drugs, and I was like, that's weird. And then I realized it was from 2016. So then I just typed in top abused 2022, and it came up with kratom as number one, cannabis, and then
I
hallucinogenics,
could see all that. Makes
tobacco, nicotine, and vaping, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, MDMA, ecstasy or Molly.
sense. MDMA.
MDMA. Did I say it wrong?
No, you just said it slow.
Oh. I said it like a person who doesn't know what she's talking about. Who doesn't really know. Okay, so I thought that was interesting. And so
Oh, and also something to look for. I just thought of something too, is with a fentanyl, the blue pills, the blue in the pockets and stuff like that. If you see
Yes.
pockets that have blue inside of
the
them, or
dye,
weird blue
it dies
dye,
off. Somebody told that
Yeah.
to me, that it dies off in their pockets.
right?
So if your kids have blue dye on their pockets, yeah, or in their backpacks, yeah.
Or it could just be a pen that exploded. So just watch for other things too.
Parents
Don't
aren't-
just take that.
Parents
as
aren't going to
that.
lose their minds that quickly. Hopefully, yeah.
Now, something else we forgot to
Let's go
show
through that.
was the Narcan. Now, this is a nasal spray that can be used to
don't you hold it?
reverse the effects of overdose. I have 2 of these at my house. They come in packs like this. And you just, basically when you open this up, when somebody's overdosing, you just open this up. You stick this part in their nostril, and you hold it like this, and
Push
you
down
just
on the plunger.
push the plunger, the red part, up and into their nose, and make sure to get it good and up there. And there are instructions inside that come inside of the actual packaging as well. And yeah, this is I believe every one comes with 2 1 spray per device, but it comes with 2 of them.
Two
So there's
doses.
2 doses, so 1 spray per device. and it's 4 milligrams. So if the first one doesn't work, you go ahead and get the other one out and use the other one.
And we've talked about Narcan on the show before, and I think one thing that occurred to me after the fact was we didn't bring up the fact that you can give someone Narcan even if you're not sure if they're overdosing, and it won't hurt them because all it really does is block the opiates.
Well, if they're using.
But it won't hurt them if they're not using either, because all it does is block the receptor site.
I don't know.
Of the unless they're. No.
I don't remember.
Yeah, no, I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you don't have to be afraid, but you should try to make sure that that's what's going on before the use of Narcan.
Right.
But I'm just saying it's not going to hurt them if you use it, and you need to use it right away, and you need to call 911 right away and start the Narcan or CPR.
Yeah.
And we
Definitely.
were also going to talk about some slang terms for different drugs. Alyssa, do you want to help me out and start? We're just going to read off some of them.
Right. Okay. So for heroin, if you hear the words, it's the slang terms H, black tar, or black or tar, just by themselves. Brown, China white, boy, dope, smack, mud, dragon, Mexican brown, or brown sugar. And
Brown
then
sugar.
Oh my
Sorry.
gosh!
I don't know.
please.
I was like, is that song about that? I never had a clue.
You know what that song "Watermelon Sugar" is about, right?
Okay, I don't even know. Yeah, we'll talk about that another day. Okay, so fentanyl. You did not go there, right? Fentanyl. China girl, and I think it was also China white, which I think that's really confusing.
Yeah,
right?
you can call heroin China white or fentanyl China white, so it could get confusing. Mhm.
Yeah, so that's an easy way to have somebody overdose. You want some
Right.
China white, they think they're getting heroin and they're getting fentanyl. Betty, blues, and that's the blue pills.
Yeah.
Apache seems
Which
to be
I've never heard of, but it said online and it kept coming up, so I was like, okay, yeah, we'll just put that one in there.
seems to be a popular one, right?
Right. And then if I've had it happen so many times, even when I've been clean, somebody will come up to me and just be like, hey, you party? And I know what that means now.
It's the way they say it. I've had two
Right.
people. One guy almost smacked him.
They're basically asking if you do meth. Do you party? Do you do meth? And so, yeah, that's what that means. There's different terms for meth. I can't say that one. It's the S word. That was like the main one. Crystal, crank, rock, white, speed, ice, glass. This one is silly. I've heard people say this before, go, and go fast. And I was like, you sound like a 5-year-old, please. And then there's Diablo, shards, stuff, and uppers.
I heard my dad say crank. I figured that out pretty quick.
I feel like that's more of
Crank lift, you said?
an older one.
Yeah, speed freaks.
Because
crank
we
lift,
didn't
that's the kind of stuff
ever
I used
say
to
that back back in my day.
do. Back in the day when you were young. Okay, Xanax. You might hear Xanny bar. And I was asking Alyssa about that because I was wondering, and she was telling me how they come. Want to explain that?
Yeah, they're like a small rectangle bar, and they have like little lines, indentations, and then where you could break them off into smaller pieces if you don't want to take as much, kind of thing. So it's a bar.
that actually comes from
It
the
looks like an
doctor like
actual
that
bar.
in a bar.
Yeah, they come
Okay.
in prescriptions like that.
You're not supposed to take the whole bar.
I
That's what
mean, some
are
people
when they're
do.
abusing, right?
Right, some people do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they can be called Xanny bars. What's that word?
Xannies.
Xannies, Z-bar, footballs. So, that's a new one. And bricks.
Okay, and then there's cocaine, snow, blow, white lady, white girl, old lady, Snow White, sugar, yayo, bump, or rail.
One time I was dating this one guy, and he was like, "Yeah, my friend, he's irritating me. He wants to go get that white lady." And I was like, "What white lady? Why is that irritating you?" I had no idea. It's funny. But
I remember
anyway,
somebody had come up to me before and was like, hey, you got any old lady? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it's before I knew that term. I'm like, what?
right?
I don't know.
Like an old lady.
And then for ecstasy, there's MDMA, bean, Molly, candy, X, the hug drug, love drug, or moon rock. And then there's also two terms here that we were just going to talk about too. A speedball or a Belushi.
Which is not Chris Farley.
I know.
Contrary to Alyssa's belief. I said...
That's who I always imagined in my mind when they said Belushi.
I said, I think that's also the same way that the fat guy in the little coat died. And Alyssa's like, isn't that...
yeah, but that's coke and heroin mixed together.
Sorry.
And then a goofball is meth and heroin mixed together. So if you ever hear the term speedball or goofball, that's, I mean, besides
This is a great way to kill yourself. I mean, really, because one's an
right.
up or one's a downer.
That's what I
right?
used to do all the time too,
Up
and
or
it was
downer.
not good.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that messes with your heart really bad. That's how that's why
Exactly.
they died from that. It was like it's really hard on the heart.
Well, it's also because not Chris Farley though.
I
Farley
thought Chris Farley was also.
He just did a bunch of heroin.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember all that.
Yeah,
but it's very
they
sad.
found a bunch of bags.
We have a few minutes. Do you want to talk about this? We thought about talking about it.
No,
Wow, you're
I
not.
can't read your writing.
Okay, so we wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so inhalants can be inhaled through a balloon.
Oh, filled with nitrous oxide.
Yes.
Yeah, nitrous oxide. Whippets, which are just the whipped cream cans. Kids could be getting high off of just the whipped cream cans, like just the air and inhaling that air and getting high. Anything
And that's what they were doing with the duster. You
the
and
duster.
Casey
That's
were doing
right
that.
up here. The dust off with a
And then
computer
one
spray.
time, Alyssa, I remember.
You have to watch that stuff
Yeah,
around
well,
kids.
like, and how do you watch the freon in your air conditioning unit though? That's what you did one time.
Right. One time because I passed out and it was horrifying and I will
Well,
literally.
yeah, you're
I
lucky
would
to be
never
alive.
done
You're
that
lucky
again
you
after
didn't
that.
freeze your lungs with the freon.
Yeah, and that's something scary too about the computer duster stuff. You actually feel your lungs freezing. It feels like they're
Does
freezing. They
not
feel
sound like
actually
fun to
like
me.
ice is coming into them, and then you get all loopy. And
None of this sounds like fun to me at all. Okay, so that's. They also have nitrous oxide. How do you say? it?
nitrous oxide.
Yeah, cartridges that they can.
Yeah, little
also-
cartridges that people get high off of. So if you see like the little, we don't have
Metal.
them with
It's
us.
metal, right?
They're little metal. They look like honestly like tiny little bombs. That's kind of what they look like, and they're metal. And those kids are getting high off of those too. I mean, adults are getting high off of those too.
And that goes into the bloodstream relatively quickly because it's going through.
Oh yeah.
The lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Fast.
So that's and then also people are you might see like a washcloth or something.
Washcloth. Yeah, wash.
I'm sorry, my mom.
Get me my there washcloth.
I reckon I want my washcloth. My family are from the South. What do you want from me? I say stuff like that, toilet paper. I need some toilet paper.
The cooler box. What did you say? That
The
one time
cooler
for the
box?
refrigerator. You said something weird. The
Ice box.
The
It's
ice
an
box. The ice box. I was like,
Because it used to be
ice
boxes
box?
where they would just put ice in there. Wow, you didn't know ice box, huh? Covers instead of blankets. Okay, but
I
anyway,
still say covers too.
so sometimes with huffing, the person might have a. This
this one is
disgusting.
crazy. I
Yeah,
know.
it's totally crazy. But they would soak a
Washcloth.
rag
A rag, Mom.
with
Like an inhalant.
Yeah, and then
soaked
put it in their
the
mouth.
inhalant
Almost
and
like if
stuck
they're
it, yeah, stick it in, like,
almost like when you get kidnapped and they try to put the
Mom,
thing. over
don't
your-
say that.
That sounds like it though, doesn't it?
No, because they put that is put over your mouth and your nose, and they just breathe that. And this one, it says they're actually stuffing it into their mouth,
Even worse.
which
That's
is
terrible.
It's crazy.
So
I mean, there were stories about kids or people going number 2 into buckets, putting it in their backyard and letting it ferment,
Getting
and then going
S-faced.
outside and
literally getting
and,
S-faced.
yeah, and then huffing it
Yeah,
and
that was
getting
awful. I remember
high
that.
off
That was
of
in
their
Arkansas.
Poop.
You never know
That's
what they do.
gross.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But people will do whatever they can to get high. That's the
That's
problem, right?
everywhere.
There's issues, right? It's unfortunate.
Right.
Sniffing and inhaling fumes from substances sprayed is another way.
No, sprayed or deposited into a paper or plastic bag. So just
Right.
breathing that in. Right.
Yeah, aerosols. Those are all ways that people might be getting high.
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot of stuff to look out for. But if you look out for it, you will see it.
Oh,
There
yeah.
will be signs. It black marks on the like soot marks on your dressers, on the kitchen counters, on the bathroom counters. Just black soot. That's
Little
that's
cottons around.
Little
Orange
cottons
caps
around.
from the needles.
Orange needle caps. They're just little tiny caps for
Burnt
needles.
spoons. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can a lot of little signs
Right.
that will show you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, maybe
and then
look for their
signs,
eyes.
and the eyes that I was gonna say. But I was gonna say itching their nose a lot for heroin. Noses get really itchy when you're on heroin, so they'll just be constantly itching their nose, or like coke, just constantly snorting.
And it burns your
you know.
nose, right? Coke can burn out your bridge of your nose or just something.
Oh yeah,
collapse it.
it burns.
It
Yeah.
can collapse your nose. Like
I mean, coke numbs it kind of, but the rest burns.
okay, but it's all bad. So don't do it. Don't do drugs.
Joe's
It
in the back
sounds
sniffing.
It's all Joe. Joe's over there demonstrating for us. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for getting on board with us and helping us out. So yeah, also pupils dilated, or even like when the eyes are low,
Right.
especially with pills. Like you'll see people really like nodding out, falling asleep.
Right.
It's scary. It's very scary. I think that's about it for today.
It's less scary to me now, sorry, than it is. It's more like, wow, he's on a good one.
Yeah, I don't like hearing people say that. I've heard people say that, like,
It's-
"Oh, look, they're
it's-
on a good one." To me, it doesn't
Or
look
it's
good.
sad.
To me, it looks like horrifying and scary, and I want to keep it that way. I don't
Right.
want to think that it's good. Ever,
Right.
Ever think that it's good because.
Well, it
that's
doesn't mean good. It means just a good high.
I get it, but
Like he's
to
on
me,
a really big one.
To me, I just like to be in control of my faculties and.
Right. There's two
never
types
be
of
like
people,
that.
her and me.
Shut up. Oh Lord. Okay. Also, did you mention that meth is called Diablo? Because I thought that one was
I did.
really
I
a
heard that.
telling one.
And it makes, it is the devil.
'Cause it
too.
makes-
It really is. Meth
Yeah.
is the devil.
Yeah.
They're all evil, but meth's the big one.
Yeah.
That's the one I started seeing crazy stuff.
People start to see stuff and think
Mhm.
that narcs and are coming to get them and
Oh,
stuff.
I've
yeah.
seen that happen. That was insane. This guy went crazy without he had a cast on his leg. He threw his crutches and started running, ducking behind cars, thought we were narcs, and
Ouch.
we had to chase him. He left from rehab with us, and we were like, we should have never taken him with us to get high.
Stupid.
It was crazy. We had to take him back to rehab while he's trying to jump out of the moving
How
car.
sad. I'm
It
sorry, I
was
shouldn't
it
laugh.
was
I shouldn't
bad.
laugh. That's
The next
bad.
day we came back to check on him, and he was like, "Thank you for bringing me back. I'm so sorry. I freaked out like that." I'm like, "I'm just glad you're alive."
Right. Well, anytime you're putting something like that in your body, you don't know how they cut it or what they cut it with or what you're getting.
Right, and he was from the East Coast, and we're from here, and he said it's
Well.
just different there. He said it was different. So,
Well,
but yeah,
anytime you do it in a different location, it's different too. People overdose mostly in
Exactly.
hotel rooms because it's a different new location. They get a better high. or a
right,
different kinda high.
right.
So that's actually been
And we
proven.
were in rehab, and he left. So he had been clean for about a month, and he decided to go with us. So, but anyway, we have 1 minute left.
So I guess that's everything for today. I feel like we did good.
Your good neighbor along the way.
What does the WeatherBug app